Republicans in the U.S. House finally returned to work at the Capitol after 8 weeks away, a delay that allowed them to avoid the release of the Epstein files on President Trump's one-time friend and infamous child sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. And today, Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert was the target of an apparent pressure campaign by Trump to keep the Epstein files secret. The New York Times and CNN report that the Trump White House attempted to convince Boebert, a strong Republican ally of the president, to take her name off a congressional action that would force the release of the Epstein files, even going so far as to call her to a meeting in the highly secure White House Situation Room with the FBI director and the Attorney General. Because at that point, one name coming off the petition would sink it. But Boebert stayed on, and this afternoon, the process started to force the release of the files. The White House was asked about this apparent pressure campaign on Boebert and, interestingly, suggested that the closed-door meeting to prevent the public from seeing the Epstein files was actually a sign of transparency.
In transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns?
It will likely be next week when we see a House floor vote on the release of the Epstein files. If it passes the House, there is no guarantee that the Republican-led Senate will act. Today, House Democrats released emails where Epstein told a journalist that Trump knew about the girls. Trump says he was not involved in Epstein's child sex ring.